How's it going, everyone? This is Ken Q, and I am here today with Amma. Amma and I are going to be chatting about lots of different stuff. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Emma. I play any game I can get my hands on, and thanks for having me.
Mm, I'm so excited. We're going to chat about
Yeah.
everything. Let me just pull up the slides that I had open a second ago and then closed, and now need to open again because
Uh,
that's a thing, you know. Ba-bam!
Here we go.
Yeah. Research subject 05. So today, the objective is really for me to better understand the life forms of planet Earth through conversation, which can be difficult at times. And we're going to talk about various interests, fears, desires, things like that. Um, like I mentioned earlier, but for chat's sake, if there's anything that you don't feel comfortable answering, just feel free to say, no, I refuse, or, something like that. And we'll just skip it and move on.
Got it.
Sweet. So let's get right into the meat of it. Let's start with a brief list of things you like and things you don't like. And people seem to be getting out their notepad for this. So I'm very excited.
Uh,
Well,
I guess I should start, huh? Well, for those who have actually seen my thing, I'm a very very big fan of games in general. It's what I've spent my whole life doing. So I guess you could say my biggest like is probably games, and my friends, like my manager and all that. And yeah, I'm also a very, very avid anime watcher. My character is heavily based on like different animes and stuff. Wouldn't be able to tell from a first glance. For things I dislike, uh, that's a good question actually.
this one, the dislikes usually gets me the most interesting answers, I find.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I guess one thing is I guess one thing I could say I definitely dislike is people trying to be like, oh yeah, you should do things this way when I guess you could play. I like to kind of move to my own rhythm. I guess
Yeah.
yeah. Like I remember there was this one time on stream, and someone kept like trying to like push me to do like the specific thing, and I eventually was just like, okay, you need to cut it out, man, because I'm like in the middle of doing something, because it was like near the end of the stream, and the dude just kept badgering me for like a good like 5 or 6 minutes straight, and I'm like, okay, no more backseat gaming, buddy. So yeah. I know out of context it sounds kind of mean, but even like some of my chat agreed that yeah, the dude was kind of pushing things a little bit too much there. So,
I don't think it sounds mean at all. I think you've got
mm,
rules for yourself and things you want to do, and if people don't want to listen to that, then it's totally fine to set those boundaries.
yeah.
So going back to the likes a little bit. So you said you like games and anime. So what kinds of games do you really like? Like what's like your top tier types of games?
Well, there's two kind of games I really really enjoy the most. Mostly fighting games, which I know I don't play much on my channel because truth be told, I'm former competitive Smash at this point. I used to play Smash Bros competitively all throughout high school.
Whoa.
And yeah, like I started with Smash 4 and ended with Ultimate, but I kind of left that community after a while because things became kind of not very good.
Hmm.
But a couple years ago, a friend of mine introduced me to a game called Taiko no Tatsujin, and that created a love of rhythm games. Like my entire YouTube channel, since I mostly stream on Twitch. But my YouTube channel I have dedicated at this point just to rhythm games, like Friday Night Funkin', stuff like that. So I'm hoping to do more rhythm game stuff eventually because it's one of the few games I'm really passionate about is Groove Coaster. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah,
I'm really bad at that kind of stuff, but I am super impressed with people that can do it.
yeah. I'm getting better at Groove Coaster. I mean, I still can't do like the high level songs, but like I can do some of them now. I'm getting there.
Did you ever play games like Dance Dance Revolution and things like that?
Actually, yeah, like a long time ago, back in elementary school, I used to go to an after-school daycare thing, and they actually had DDR, but truth be told, I suck at that one.
It's hard. I tried
Yeah,
it once and I was like, man, I'm just sweating after one song. That's not
yeah,
that's not cool.
yeah. Truth be told, I'm terrible at both DDR and at Guitar Hero. I've tried Guitar Hero, like my girlfriend Ace has Guitar Hero,
Yeah.
and truth be told, I suck at it.
But other rhythm games are where it's at.
Yeah, like mostly most of the ones I play are stuff like Taiko no Tatsujin and especially Groove Coaster and Fred and Ed Funkin',
Yeah. I've heard of
which
some of
is
those.
yeah.
Okay, okay. And in terms of anime, what kind of anime are we
In
talking
terms
here?
of anime, um, this is going to be a very amusing fact for most, but believe it or not, my character is actually named after. I know it's technically a game, but I started with the anime because I couldn't afford a PS4. The Persona anime is like like 3, 4, and 5, like how they
Yeah.
have the anime adaptations. Yeah, I'm named after Ranamamiya from the Persona 5 anime. That's how I got my
Okay.
name because my whole gimmick was originally I was gonna be the summon. But yeah, that's mostly what I used to watch, and then now I mostly watch like mecha slice of life, like Gundam, for example, is what I typically watch now.
Gundam's great.
So yeah.
Are you watching anything right now?
Actually, yeah, there was one anime from this season that really caught my eye. I know most people are watching what's it called? The My Dress Up Darling, which I've seen a few clips of and it's interesting to me, but I've mostly been watching what's it called? It's My Life or My Life with what was it again? Like something like My Life with a Reincarnated Fantasy Knockout or something like that. It caught my interest because it was hilarious to watch the clips of, and I started watching it and I laughed for like the entire first 2 episodes straight. So
Is that the one where the two guys are reincarnated?
yeah, yeah, where the two guys like get brought to a new world,
Yeah,
and one
and
of the
one is
guys
not a guy.
one is no longer a guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, well, this is a thing.
Yeah, I've definitely started that one. I'm a few episodes behind, but I like it. I like the concept,
Yeah,
and it's just so silly.
yeah. I'm on like episode like 3, but I've seen a lot of the clips of later episodes, so
Yeah.
I know vaguely what's going on.
That's amazing. So, do you have an all-time favorite?
Yeah, it might be a bit divisive due to its creator. Like I've had to separate the art from the artist, and I don't like obviously like buy the manga or anything from it now.
Right.
But Rurouni Kenshin, because I've grown up a history buff, you know,
Okay.
and Rurouni Kenshin is like that perfect like mix of like the like the action I really enjoy watching and the historical aspect of it because it takes place in like a slightly fantastical version of Meiji era Japan,
Yeah.
and it's really good. It's really a shame though on how its artist and writer is not the best person, but the anime itself, if you could figure out a way to watch it without paying for it directly, it's not a bad anime.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
It's tough when you have to do that, eh? Separate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
brutal.
yeah.
Oh well, people will be people, right?
People will be people, even if they do evil things. There's ways to still enjoy something you love without directly supporting, the bad people who make it. Like
Yeah.
that's what I've had to do in the past with like certain games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a shame when it happens, but I'm a believer in not just letting something rot if it still exists, and if you can still enjoy it, without supporting the bad people, then go for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Very cool. What are your hobbies and interests? Ooh.
Well, as I mentioned before, I'm a very big, I'm a very avid gamer, but I also like to, obviously, and I'm never ever gonna do this on stream, but I actually do like dancing just as a hobby. It's like a good way to, get some exercise in and just have some fun.
Uh,
And then yeah, trying to think of other ones that would be like stuff to talk about. I mean, there's obviously reading, which most of the stuff I read is like manga, light novels. There's a few web comics I've read, which some got turned into anime, and oh boy, that was a fun experience.
yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not sure if how popular it got, but Tower of God was one of the ones that I had read beforehand, and the day it got announced to be like a Crunchyroll anime, I like lost my mind for a second with excitement because that was one I've been reading since high school. So
Yeah, I understand that. Like, I never read it before, but when I watched the anime, I was like, man, that's so good. The story must be
really
even
good.
better.
Oh yeah, it is. I really hope we get a season two. I'm obviously not going to spoil like anything, but if we get a season two, it's going to be like one of the best anime seasons ever. I'm saying it hands down.
I really hope they do that because that was a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, same thing with God of High School. Like I didn't read like the other one that I think they announced, which was like Noblesse, but God of High School was another one that I was actively reading at the time.
It's pretty satisfying when that happens, eh? Like
Yeah,
you're like, oh, they're gonna make an anime of this thing that I'm already interested in. That's pretty sweet.
yeah, yeah. Especially because I was always like, huh, I always find new manga to read from anime, but I never find the vice versa.
Yeah.
And then the one time it happened, the same thing happened with Sweet Home, but it got turned into like a Korean drama, I believe. That's on Netflix, so that was kind of cool to see as well.
Sweet Home. Which one's that?
It's basically it's a thing where this dude who he's very depressed, not exactly wanting to live, but he decides on a date to when he was gonna you know,
Yeah.
but literally like I think it's like literally like the day every day over like the week before, um, all of a sudden a monster outbreak happens. Like people start turning into monsters, and he and a group of survivors are forced to work together to try to survive.
Oh wow.
And the day that I found out it was going to become a Korean drama, I read through the entire thing in a singular night. Like I had started it beforehand, lost where I was, started the thing, and just over the course of a singular night, sorry, read through the whole thing, and it was a trip.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. So those are probably my like biggest hobbies is playing video games, watching anime, reading, dancing. I used to like to draw a lot, but now mostly I just leave the drawing to Ace, as I'm not really good at drawing. So
I can understand
I'm
that.
more the yeah, I'm more the creative side. Like I actually wrote a role play group with Pandem and Terry, who happened to be sitting here in this chat,
Yeah.
called Strike Forward. It's not like a public thing or anything. It's just something that me and my friends work on, and we've actually been writing it for almost a year now. Like I think it's like next week will be the 1 year anniversary of our project. But
Wow.
yeah, that's actually where my design came from. Believe it or not, is the main character, if you will, of that. But that's one of my that's been like my biggest hobby for like the last year, and it's kind of what led to me being a VTuber in a weird kind of way.
Are you
Yeah.
guys gonna have that ever have that story come out?
Actually, yes. Because moving on to the interests part of
Yeah.
great segue here. Uh, I'm very keen on writing. Like I've loved writing ever since I was little. Like I used to write comics and stuff like that. And on Wattpad, which you'll have to probably have to grab the link for, you can actually find the first few chapters of it. Like I've been rewriting the beginning of the story and Wattpad. I kind of ended up stopped working on it for at least for now because VTubing is just more of a full time job for me at this point. Like I
Right.
know that it's like I put in the announcement being like, oh yeah, the next chapter's in development, and then I got like swamped with work. So, but it's on the way. Also, hi Mal, I see you in chat.
That's
But
funny.
yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
Straightforward will eventually become a full fledged novel. I'm hoping because I am a writer, and despite SF being a glorified fanfic, including the Doki Doki Literature characters Soul or Dizzy from Guilty Gear, and way too many memes, it's going to become something someday.
Cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
send me the link and I'll include it in the description of this video so that when
yeah,
people
well,
watch this, they
yeah,
can go back and look at that.
yeah, I'll send it to you after
Yeah,
the stream. I think.
yeah. Yeah. Hard to find things during stream and do all that coordination.
Yeah.
Cool. So writing, eh?
Yep.
Do you do any like writing related streams yet?
I haven't yet, mainly because I don't really know how. Like I haven't figured out how I would go about that, especially since most of my writing process is either just done like like through like the SF role plays or
Yeah.
through just kind of like like staying up late at night, just thinking in my head and just coming up with like the most random stories, like yeah, here's a story about how this character got their backstory and such and such. That's typically what I've been doing as of late, writing wise.
Yeah.
There is another story I've been meaning to work on that I might write on stream eventually, because I'm a fan fiction writer as well. Like that's where I got my start, was with fan fiction on Wattpad.
Cool.
And I've been meaning on continuing a certain Azure Striker Gunvolt storyline, which I've been meaning to gauge interest on Twitter. So we'll see. There might become a new writing stream eventually.
That's pretty neat. Yeah, I've seen like some streamers they'll do like over the course of like a 1 hour or 2 hour stream, they'll get like a prompt from chat or something, and then they'll
Ooh,
just write like a 2 page short story or something based on that
that's actually
prompt.
not a bad idea. I might have to try that soon.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I definitely if you like writing things, then it's cool because it gets you a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you got to keep it short because you don't have like
Yeah.
3 days to write. It's pretty
Yeah.
neat. Yeah,
Yeah.
do it.
Hey, don't tempt me, because knowing me, I might actually do it.
Just picture me sitting on your shoulder. Do it.
Do it. The Emperor Palpatine like clip. Just do it.
Yes. So this question you've kind of already touched on it. What kind of content do you currently create?
So, due to the fact that I've got a Twitch and a YouTube channel with varying levels of audio quality, I mostly do stuff obviously on my Twitch, where I play just about any game I can get my hands on. Like mostly I've been playing Minecraft as of late, like building. But I've also played in the past. I've played games like Nier Automata, Fire Emblem Warriors, the Rune Factory games. Um, Really, I intend on doing more Rune Factory content. Actually, like I know it's like it's like what am I currently doing? But yeah, like starting on the 22nd when it releases, I'm playing through Rune Factory 5. Like I normally just bounce around from game to game, but I'm gonna start playing like games in full. Like I meant to do that with Nier, but then I got distracted by like 15 other games. So yeah, I've been playing Nier in my off time. But yeah, and then on my YouTube channel is almost entirely focused as a VOMS archive, like where I upload my Twitch streams
Yeah.
to. And I've also started again recently with like once or up to 4 times a month I'll be playing rhythm games. Mostly for now just Friday Night Funkin', but I hope to eventually bring like Groove Coaster, Taiko no Tatsujin, and Osu all to the thing as well, for the sake of, having some more variety.
Gosh, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
How do you have time
I'm
for all of it?
simple. I know live streaming at this point. That's if I'm not streaming, I'm role playing, and if I'm not doing either one of those, I'm either like hanging out with like Ace or my friends, or I'm just dead asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the next question is obviously, what kind of content do you want to create in the near future?
So, as I mentioned, I really, really want to do more Rune Factory content because I'm a very, very big fan of farming sims as I grew up with them. But there's also a few games that I really, really want to cover. You know, like I want to start doing more Fire Emblem related stuff
I love
because
Fire
that's just a
Emblem.
series I really, really love. Like I've already decided, but I'm gonna be pre-ordering Three Hopes, like purposely for the sake of streaming the whole thing in one go, or at least as much of it in one go as I can stand, because you know ADHD can be like that sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
But I eventually want to try. There's a ton of things I want to try streaming wise. Like you know, like I've been inspired to try the play my cello again, as it's something I used to do quite frequently back in middle school and early high school. I was thinking it's like it'd be nice to get to play an instrument on stream or do something more music related on stream, since you know music is something that I like to listen to and like to play as well.
Yeah, gosh, cello? That's amazing.
Yeah,
How long did you
I'm
play
probably
for?
very, very rusty by now, sadly. My
I
cello's been in since 2015, I think.
I understand the rustiness. I have a violin sitting up on my shelf that I haven't played in a couple
Uh,
years.
yeah, I feel that. It's been at least 5, I think, since I last played my cello.
Yeah.
I see Terry in the chat just like, oh? Yeah, our local music person getting all hyped up, I see.
Ah, music person, eh?
Yeah. Terry, who's like, he's in chat. Say hi, Terry. But he's big on music, so typically whenever I have music related questions, which is like once in a blue moon, I go to him about it.
Nice, nice. Yeah. Would you so obviously after you brush the rust off, would you compose music yourself? Have you considered that?
Probably, to be honest. I mean, originally I was going to, because believe it or not, I'm a former game development hopeful, as I like to call it, because I wanted to make games. As a matter of fact, my opening music, which you can kind of sort of hear in my Twitch streams at the beginning, it was actually written for a game I was developing, but sadly, the project fell through. So,
Wow.
um, but yeah, once I manage to kind of relearn how to play the cello, I'm gonna start writing my own music. As a member of my group was the person who wrote my current OST, but eventually I want to make my own. So, because Paint's music is good, don't get me wrong. Like, shout out to Paint and all that, but like, I want to be able to have something that's, I want to be able to try to make something with my own skill, just to say I can.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
I'm excited to see you do that when the time comes.
yeah. Someday it may be a while because I gotta get new strings for it and everything. But
Yeah,
whenever I finally manage to get the funds to do that, I'm gonna really try hard to relearn it.
that's amazing. Wow. And I feel like I interjected with a question, but was there more you wanted to say on new types of content you want to make?
I mean, I guess no other than just the new writing idea that you gave me. Not really.
I apologize. I like to think outside of the box and
Yeah,
tell
well, I mean,
people
again,
what
I
to do with
really
their
like that
lives.
idea. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. Gosh, you're a very creative person, and I admire that.
yeah. I'm creative with a lot of ambitions. The only real thing right now that's stopping me is my own lack of skill.
Yeah, that comes with time, I think. But
Yeah,
yeah, and practice, I guess. Can't just
yeah,
sit there and let time happen.
yeah.
Oh, amazing. So you touched on this earlier, but you kind of didn't say it at the time. But what motivated you to start creating content?
So, believe it or not, it originally began because I wanted to find a way to get a job that didn't like I basically wanted to work from home. I'm not exactly diagnosed with anything like anxiety or anything, but I don't really like to work away from home. I feel way more comfortable when I'm like like in my room. It's like a safe space almost.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I tried to find like different things like like obviously like writing, game development, things that helped with my passions.
yeah.
But none of it was really working out. Like I had a game development project that fell through, and writing. I tried for like months to try to get writing commissions, and it just didn't go anywhere. And so I started doing something that I used to do as a kid, making YouTube videos. You know, as a matter of fact, again, if you look far enough back on my YouTube channel, you can probably find the stuff where, like, like the pre-VTube era, or pre-Emma Arrior era, I guess is the better way to put it.
Right.
VTubers were obviously around by then. But, uh, but, you know, I wanted to find something I could do that I enjoyed, and the YouTube stuff wasn't going anywhere. Like Terry and Pandem and I all started a podcast that died after like 3 episodes, and we even tried to this freaking marathon of a Sonic Generation stream that like flopped. But then a certain game developer buddy of mine was like, "Hey, why don't you try being a VTuber?" And because I already do a lot of in-character writing and stuff like that as is. And that's the story of how Emma Arrior came to be, basically.
Cool.
It started from a desperation to try to be something more than what I was, and I think I found it in the most interesting way possible.
Yeah, it seems like things kind of came together,
Yeah.
both, your passions and, the desire to be in more of a comfort zone rather than the outside world, which nobody likes the outside world.
Yeah. It's scary.
It's just a weird place out there.
Oh yeah, as Terry says, yeah, you could physically feel our freaking sanity slipping during that Sonic marathon. Oh man, especially by the end. I just remember that, wanting to be done with that.
Why was it such a pain?
I think I stated it actually during the stream, and so I'm gonna try to reiterate how exactly I put it. It's basically like with that specific game, as a game developer, I like to try at least try to pay attention to like different elements and stuff. But you could tell in Sonic Generations that the first two like the first 2 thirds of the game are really really well done. They're really really fun to play. The levels are enjoyable. Yeah, not so much for the game's third, like the third section of it, like the modern era as it's like called. It
Right.
starts with a very infamous Sonic games level, which isn't very fun to play. And you have a really really fun level, and then you just have a level that just drags on and on and on for like what feels like ages. And it didn't help that during my stream, I kept screwing up on that second zone, like that second like level of the third section.
Right.
So I kept dying and getting more and more frustrated. So you could like tell that like by the end of the stream, I was just done. I just wanted it to be over, and we did it. It nothing really much came of it. But if I ever do that again, I swear I'm just going to have to do that in multiple parts because playing through that third section tries my patience.
I think you guys should set a milestone, and once you reach that milestone, you guys should marathon it again.
Marathon it again, yeah. I'll do it. I'll do it because don't get me wrong, I love Sonic Generations, but like, man, it's gonna take some time before I'm willing to do that run again.
Yeah. Set
Yeah,
some outrageous like milestone, and then watch
yeah.
people get you there before you want to.
I mean, hey, it might happen, especially because yeah, the thing about Sonic Generations is that despite how much I hate the third section of it, I'm actually really good at that game. Surprisingly, I mean, it's not the most obvious, but I've beaten that game like 5 or 6 separate times, so like I know like a lot of the stuff about how that game works. And man, if I have to do that again, I'm gonna make sure I actually bring some energy drinks this time, just so I can do some of the crazier stuff.
Oh yeah, you definitely will need to be prepared for that one.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. So now that you've started content creation, what kind of keeps you going? What motivates you to continue?
To be honest, there's two things. There's part of it is honestly just stubbornness. I'm pretty dang sure at this point because like I really really wanted me to do this for a living, and I know that I'm not like not that big yet, not that entertaining just yet. But I'm gonna get there eventually. I'm gonna keep working at it. And then I've got a really really good group of support. Like obviously there's Terry, my manager Pandem, Ace, who I've mentioned before, my sister, the
Yeah.
entirety of SF. I have so many people who have my back, including even in like the VTuber community. I've got a few friends like Kleb and Aita and Mila, who help me out as well. And knowing that I've got people who have my back, even if I trip and fall, that's what really really helps the most.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, it's good to have that, close knit group of people that
Yeah.
what do you call it? Support team?
Yeah, like the support group,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, another really, really big part of what keeps me going is that, it's like every single time there's a small victory, like, whether it's like, oh, hey, look, I got, I suddenly got rated, or, oh, look, this, there's this suddenly big person who just suddenly followed me, like, I remember back when I was trying to rush through as much of Scarlet Nexus as I could because my Game Pass was running out at the time.
Yeah.
One of the game's creators liked my post, and that just made my day.
Oh man.
So it's like little things like that. Like things that shouldn't be too big of a victory, at least probably aren't in like the big scheme of things. But like little stuff like that just keeps me going at this point. You know,
Yeah.
between my support group and stuff like that, those are the two big things I'd say.
That's amazing. Definitely I agree that that kind of stuff keeps me going too. It's definitely it's where the value is in all of this, right? Like it's
Yeah.
you want to make something of it obviously, but like
Yeah.
if you focus too much on numbers and things like that, it gets really depressing. So it's like all these other
Yeah.
things that really make it enjoyable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Amazing.
I swear if like I mean it's already happened once on my personal Twitter where like I got one of my tweets liked by or I think he maybe even responded to by a certain video game voice actor, but if that ever happens again, which who knows, maybe if I get big enough for Plague 3 Hopes it might. That's gonna be the big I've done it. I've succeeded of my career.
Oh yeah, print that up, frame it, put it on the wall.
Yeah.
Even if the tweet is just like a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, what do you find to be the biggest stumbling block or demotivator? Mm,
Well, I'm not gonna lie. There's been two of them, where two people who I watched start their VTuber journeys have surpassed me, and in one case by like a lot, and like there was one time where a friend of mine, they know who they are because I think I made a joke about it actually towards them, how one of their tweets blew up on like Valentine's Day, and I just remember being like, holy crap, how? And it's just I'm not gonna lie, like it kind of put me down for a moment, like it was just like a small like stumble, I guess, but like seeing others surpass me, like for work, like either if I were the same amount of work or less amount of work than what I've been putting in, because I've been at this for a while now.
yeah,
Like my YouTube channel started in like June, and I started doing VTubing I think in like November of last year, and so to see someone who's like, oh yeah, I just started 2 weeks ago and I've already hit like affiliate when I was still like scratching my way there. It
yeah,
it kind of hurt for a little bit, but I had to remind myself that that's just how it's going to be for now because I'm still learning how to play this game effectively of being a VTuber, you know.
yeah. I get that. Like sometimes you see, like it's obviously different when it's people that kind of started at the same time as you or you're close with. But like you see it all the time. Like somebody will post like their first tweet and they'll have like 2,000 followers the next day, and it's just like, okay, I can't let that
How
get to my head.
Yeah, yeah. What I have more to say is just like it's I always just remind myself that it's mostly because hey we're it's like they're gonna have they're gonna be able to reach as far as they're gonna be able to reach, and sure again they may jump up farther than I or faster and farther than I will, but as long as I'm still having fun, that's what's truly gonna matter at this point.
Yeah,
Whether I hit like partner in like a year or I'm spending like 5 years in my current state, as long as it's still fun, that's what truly matters to me right now. You know.
that's a very positive outlook. I like it. And you said there were two, right?
Yeah. Uh, the other one was I remember it was actually back first when I was first starting out as a VTuber, and I was running into constant problems. You know, like for example, like on my current machine, OBS does not work at all, and so I've been stuck using Streamlabs for YouTube and Twitch Studio
For Twitch.
Twitch, and I kept running into problems. Like for example, I had to spend like an entire night trying to get my freaking model working, and after I think it was like about like a week, or it was about like a month into actually being a VTuber, and it kind of just beat me down for like a few days on just how hard everything was turning out to be. It'd be like, oh yeah, I'll be able to get all this working easily, and then I get hit with like trial after trial after trial, and it was just like, is this gonna be worth it in the long run? You know, and then I was struggling to make friends at first as well, and so all of that kind of just snowballed to the point where I was like, if something doesn't, if things don't start looking up soon, I may have to just give up on this dream. But luckily, I wound up making friends with Kleb and Aita and Mela, and I suddenly had like a very very successful stream. I think it was like 9 people showed up at one point,
Yeah.
and that made me hit affiliate like that exact stream. So like the one time where I really really thought, is this gonna be possible in the long run? And yeah, it became possible. I just kept at it and it worked out. So that's where my whole outlook came from.
What like roughly what time frame after you started did that kind of feeling creep up? I'm curious.
I think it was like about 3.5 weeks into VTubing is when that feeling of just complete demoralization hit,
Yeah.
where like that was when the first incident with someone who had just started like 2 weeks before me, who I was like, oh yeah, here, I'll give you a shout out and all that, because I was like at like I think like 50ish followers, or maybe like near 100 at the time. And they suddenly surpassed me and hit affiliate within like literally like a few days, when I was like still collecting just Twitter followers, basically.
Yeah.
Like basically not even really able to get very much views on Twitch yet. Sorry, excuse me. And it was like after seeing that, that's what really hit. And then it lasted for like about a week before all of a sudden I had one really good stream, and well, that's how I got to where I am now. So
The comeback arc. I like it.
yeah, we had a little bit of a comeback arc, and now things have been going smoothly ever since. It may not be, like I may not have like the most viewers or the best content. Like, let's face it, with all my audio problems on my Twitch streams, but as long as at least there's at least still someone watching, it's still worth it.
Yeah.
That's what I've come to realize.
I love it. I love the outlook. It's very like balanced, right? Like, some people
Yeah.
are like all gung ho one way or the other, but it seems very like I care a little bit about having some viewers, but I also care about having fun, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
a very balanced outlook.
Yeah. As long as there's at least a little bit of both, as long as I'm like able to say, I want to keep going, and as long as someone's at least willing to watch, that's what matters.
Yeah. A little bit of growth doesn't have to be explosive,
Yeah.
just, continuing on the path.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. So, what's your biggest fear about being a content creator? Ooh.
Well, this is gonna sound silly, but I'm kind of worried about reaching the top, or whatever, and then, or I guess not exactly. It's not even like the top, just getting to a point of notoriety, and then one thing going wrong and destroying it all. I guess, and I know it's like a really really silly way to put it, but like, it's like I don't want it to be where I guess the most recent thing I can compare it to, and I bring this up because it's kind of been in the back of my mind, but like what happened with a certain, I'm not going to obviously name them, but a certain well-known VTuber, like all what happened a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
and it seeing that, it's like seeing their fans turn on them, and then them getting effectively kicked out of the group that they were in. I felt for it because, to be honest, I'm scared of something like that happening to me. It's the whole reason why I went and formed my own group. You know, even if my group is very unprofessional, we're more like a ragtag group of, quite frankly, a bunch of Simpson idiots. But you know, in the good way, in the good way.
I
We
like
know
it.
what they are. Looking at you, Pandom. But you know, it's why I went and made my own group instead of like trying to join an actual agency because you know I'd rather be the master of my own fate than put my fate in the hands of like a corporation or something like that. You know, I guess that's the better way to put my fears. You know, is to build up who I am only to have it taken away from me, either by a corporation or by just one wrong move.
Yeah.
Which is why yeah,
I mean, like, you don't strike me as the type of person who's particularly controversial, so that kind of stuff is probably not too much of a concern. But yeah,
yeah,
like the corporate thing, you never know when a corporate entity is going to change their attitude towards a policy or something, and then
yeah,
look at something you did as a misstep, right? So, yeah, I can
yeah,
understand that.
yeah. Especially because with what happened then, it was like I didn't really watch that VTuber or anything, but I had heard like about like stuff that was happening beforehand. Like how like, their fans were turning on them from just one thing. Like just from one rumor, and I'm just like, if it ever gets to the point where I've reached that kind of situation, then I think I've done something wrong at that point. Like I've done something wrong along the way. You know,
Yeah,
which is why part of me is like okay with having a like a small following or something like that. Like even as long as as long as the people who watch you at least understand that hey I'm not gonna always be like I'm a person.
exactly.
I may kind of be a character at the same time, but I'm still me, and sometimes like I could say or do things that may be kind of dumb sometimes. I guess is the best way to put like I guess the best way to really put my fear is that I'm scared of no longer being seen as the person behind the character, instead only being seen as this character that people can be like, hey, you're supposed to act this very specific way when you know
Yeah.
it's there's a lot more to that.
I kind of wonder if a little bit of that kind of behavior from viewers slash the audience is due to some of the, like, fast growth that people have, where they'll just like
Yeah.
get someone in who like comes and views just like cold out of the blue, and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
this person is this to me now, right? Whereas
Yeah.
if you kind of grow, like your audience grows with you, they kind of understand your boundaries, your what you
Yeah.
like, what you don't like, all of that stuff. And maybe I'm hoping it's less of a problem.
Yeah. I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. That's yeah. Scary stuff.
Yeah. Apologies if I have trouble like explaining my thoughts sometimes, but again, being ADHD can lead to that sometimes.
No worries, no worries. I've met all sorts of people, so I'm very understanding of the way people explain things. And if I
Yeah.
don't get it, I'll just say, "Could you explain that again?"
Yeah.
Explain it 4 times and I'll average it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right, here's a big question, and I'm gonna add a little explanation to this. So the question is, what's your view of the world you live in? And I use very generic wording because I let people define what world means to them for this question. And I've had some people use world as like their community. I've had some people use world as like all of planet Earth. So what's your view of the world?
Well, I mean, obviously, again, my community is fairly small. Like it's mostly just my IRL friends and a few repeat viewers, like Oz, for example, who comes by often. And despite how few of them there are, like repeat viewers, stuff like that, people who interact, they're they're all great. I mean, sure, again, they like to troll me with my own. I have like a bean voice system thing that they like to abuse constantly, but I mean, it's fun.
Yeah.
And As for the entirety of the whole planet Earth thing, all I can really say on it is that I really, really hope that certain changes happen eventually. Obviously with world events right now being quite frankly scary, and it really feels like a lot of stuff is just falling the greed. At this point, like I'm obviously again, for the sake of both YouTube and all that, trying to at least keep slightly vague on what I'm talking about for
Yeah, yeah,
obvious reasons. But like, man, it seeing everything lately and how everything has been going has been kind of a wake up call of like, well, something's got to be done sooner or later.
yeah. Hopefully, you and the people around you aren't directly affected by some of these things, but
Yeah,
yeah, it's definitely scary.
I'm thankfully American, so I'm like really far away from all the conflict. But like, just thinking about it all, like knowing that there's people dying and stuff like that, as someone who, I guess the best way you could put it, has always been acutely aware of death, I guess,
Right.
if that makes any sense. It's like
Yep.
realizing what's happening on the other side of the world it's very discomforting, to say the least.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We need some change. That's what we need.
Yeah, they really do,
All right.
All it takes for a better world is just just a little bit more kindness, and I know that it's like a lot to ask, but like you know just hopefully someday.
Yeah, and maybe less greed as well.
Oh, definitely less greed. To be honest, don't get me started on the whole the whole like going on a massive tangent here. Like I know how I'm like kind of just casually bouncing from such a serious topic to something much more mundane, but like again with my video game or with my game developer background and all that, but like just even with corporations, I've noticed there's been so much greed, like especially like Square Enix. Like yesterday, I'm not sure if anybody really saw my thing where it's like I was kind of complaining about how like Square Enix basically lied to our faces about their latest game, and like how disappointed I was that a company I trusted, like I trusted, to actually make quality stuff, and not try to screw people over, made a game for the Switch where they advertised as one thing, and then upon release, they suddenly had a frick ton of microtransactions in it. It's like,
Oh,
really, you know? Yeah,
that's brutal.
yeah, just stuff like that. I know it's like so much more mundane than the obvious world events going on, but like, man, that kind of stuff annoys me.
It's like you could see how one thing leads to another though. Like it's a small example that is representative of the extreme example.
Yeah, just greed. Just trying to nickel and dime people when that leads to worse stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, let's switch it up. Do you enjoy meeting other people and collaborating with them?
Yes, actually. I mean, obviously, get in here. Uh, Cleb and I have been trying to get a collab off the ground for like weeks now. I obviously frequently collaborate with Terry TV. I'm not sure if he's still in the chat after my joke from earlier, but hopefully he is. If you are, say hi. um, please stand. Oh wait, you can't stand up. Oops. But anyways, like I like to get to collaborate with people. It's fun, especially because it's sometimes more fun to play a game with friends, even if they're just just sitting there, just commentating with you. Like that's what we did with Sonic Generations. Is that we had it was me, Terry, and I think Daikon Duck was there as well, collaborating with us. Like I was playing the game, they were commentating, but it's just fun, to talk with people while you're playing or playing alongside them, or playing against them.
Yeah.
That's what gaming has always represented to me, is a way for people to connect with one another. Like even if it's not like a multiplayer game, it's just something to talk about, or something to do with other people, and that's where the fun of it comes from.
Yeah, I get that. Do you collaborate a lot with I guess a variety of people, or is it mostly your like tight group?
It's mostly just been my tight group, mostly my other Starbay member, Terry TV, and then Ace has appeared in a couple of my streams, and I think Club's appeared a couple of times. Truth be told, I really want to start collabing with more people. Like back when Daemon X Machina first went for free on Epic Game Store, we were trying to set up a collab that just never went anywhere. But I'm really hoping that as I grow in size, more like other VTubers will be more willing to collaborate. You know,
Yeah,
like eventually I want to be to collaborate with VTubers big and small. You know, just because why not? You know, it'd be really fun.
exactly. Different personalities, different interests.
And
Like it's all so cool, right?
yeah, part the fun of this job.
Exactly. So, are you a person who initiates interactions with others in collabs, or do you prefer if other people come to you for collabs?
Kind of depends on my mood at any given time. Like, I'm honestly pretty much an ambivert, so I can switch back and forth between, yeah, I could reach out to you, and please reach out to me, I'm scared. Yeah, like, like reaching out to Club, like, if it's someone I know, I could basically be like a freaking gremlin, just like, imagine just like a chibi version of me with two symbols clashing them together, like, hey, we need to collab already! And then, when I'm trying to reach out to new people, I'm just like, hello there! So it,
Yeah,
it, it, it wildly varies.
that's funny. The chibi gremlin is what my character is based off of. It's
It's a
mostly
perfect design, like I said.
what's his name? Soma from Food Wars when he goes into like chibi gremlin mode. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I a little bit of a spoiler for something I want to do eventually, but I eventually want to get like an Umaru-chan design,
Yeah.
like based on my VTuber, just because a running joke in my friend group is that whenever I start becoming a gremlin, I use like the Umaru-chan like gifs to represent myself on Discord. So like having a version of that would be hysterical.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you've all heard it here first, people. If you want to collaborate with Emma, then just go ahead and reach out. Don't hesitate.
Just feel free.
Just get into those DMs or something and say, collab, please.
Collab, please, or give me a
What?
toes. I think I've been hanging out with Collab too much. I was like, collab, please, or give me your toes.
Toes?
I should have said kneecaps. Kneecaps would have been twice as funny. Darn. I'll ask Club for a good silly threat to use later.
I just picture you with like a necklace of toes now.
You see, this is what I really use for my summons.
I choose you, toe number
Terry,
4.
you don't need to do that. We already collab on the regular. I like how I'm just casually interacting with chat as well.
Yeah, that's fine. That's kind of half the fun of these like just chatting collabs is you can like
Yeah.
chat with each other, chat with chat. It's great.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
Chatting with chat is always fun.
oh yeah, chat's crazy. What advice would you give to other content creators at this point, based on your experiences?
Well, the obvious thing is don't give up. Even if it gets a little bit hard, just keep working at it. Find new avenues, find new ways find new ways to keep going forward. Or as my RP group would say, strike forward. Keep trying. Even if things seem like, give me a second. Even if things seem like they're not gonna ever improve, they will eventually with time. You just have to work at it. You can't just be like, oh well, I tried. You gotta at least try every single option you have. Exhaust every single idea. Throw things at the wall and see what sticks. If you want to try playing horror games, try a horror game. If you want to try, um, like an evil root of an RPG, try that.
Yeah,
See what works for you. Just
exactly.
never give up.
Never give up. I like it.
I know it's like really anime, like cliche advice, but I mean, it's what got me this far. I'm incredibly stubborn, so
That's the thing. Like a certain amount of stubbornness, I think, is necessary when you're going your own
yeah,
way. You know,
yeah, yeah,
like it's easy to be not stubborn and just go corporate and take a corporate. I'm not saying it's easy to go
yeah,
corporate, but like if you took just
yeah,
like a regular job, it's pretty easy. You don't need that. But when you're going by yourself, you got to have a little bit of that stubbornness to be like, no,
yeah,
I'm continuing.
yeah. You gotta remember to tell yourself that, hey, sure, stuff's gonna suck for now, but it's all gonna be worth it in the end, you know?
Yep, exactly. Amazing. What are your dreams for this year?
Well, obviously, again, part of it is, to be able to, one of the things I really, really want to do is I really want to start being able to beat games on stream because almost every single game that I've played, except for I think like three of them, one of which was near, were all games I've like excelled at, or games I've played like hundreds of times over,
Right.
Like even the Luminous Avenger X2 game, despite literally playing that on stream for the first time, or like playing that for the first time on stream, I already knew exactly what I was getting myself into. Like like I've been playing the Gunvolt games for as long as they've been around.
Yeah.
But like I'm really hoping that these upcoming like Rune Factory 5 and Free Hopes marathon or marathons in air quotes that I'm intending on doing is that I can really breathe some new life into my channel, and like truly find that stride, like really find I guess what can define me as a VTuber, instead of just being the wholesome anime boy, that I'm currently am. And like Mel and I were talking about it, and you know, I really, really wanted to, or she was like what defines you as a VTuber? And I'm like, I don't know. So my big goal for this year is to find that, and hopefully I can,
I like that. Yeah. That's probably one of the hardest things to do, honestly, is find what makes you unique, right?
Yeah, define what makes me unique, and to start experiencing more stuff for the first time on the channel. Like I guess the best way to put it is that to have fresher reactions and just okay, cool. Yeah, because in all honesty, I've been trying to decide on whether or not I should play Doki Doki, like like the DLC.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, it's a game I love, but on the other hand, and Terry and Ace can both confirm this, I don't even flinch at that game anymore. I played it so much that I'm just desensitized to all of it. I'm like, well, I don't know now.
Yeah, that's a tough one. That's a really tough call.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people like scary games,
yeah,
but I am not that person.
yeah. Typically, I don't play a lot of scary games either, but DDLC jumped out to me because of its meta elements, which is something I really like in my games.
Right.
And yeah, unfortunately, when Plus came out, I decided to do the idiotic thing of 100%ing it, and now I'm not scared of it at all. So even if I did play it on stream, like I would have to hope that it's famousness carries me through it because you know viewers would arrive only to see me be so nonchalant about literally everything that happens in that game. Just look, the scary scene. Yeah, I've seen this so many times it just I don't even blink.
Yeah, it's not even that scary anymore.
Yeah,
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 that's a tough one.
yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, that's everything I have in my questionnaire. I'll compile the results and file them away with my other research subjects. Maybe if you want to give people an idea of where they can find you online.
Mm-hmm. All right. So obviously, I believe in the link in his description in the description here. You can find my Twitch channel, which is mostly where I do most of my streaming. You can also follow me on Twitter, which I believe you can access via said Twitch channel, at least in the panels and the in the thing, and I also have a Discord, which I'll have Ken put in the description. To be able to access my Twitter and Discord server. Um, and yeah, you can also subscribe to me on YouTube, which you know it's not exactly necessary, I'd say, because I barely stream there. But if you like rhythm games, that's what I'd recommend.
Yeah.
And that's all I got, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah. Send me the all of your socials and I'll just toss them into this description after the fact and people will be able to link from there.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for coming. It's been a lot of fun.
And a lot of fun. Thank you very much for having me.
All right. Well, everyone, have a good day. And until next time, keep on being yourselves. Bye.